Let's get started, shall we? Hello, hello. I am WriterMaven. I'm a wrestling commentator. I've been watching for over 30 years, and I am focused mostly on Judgment Day, which is Dom, Liv, Raquel, Finn, Carlito, and JD. I have to talk about Damian and Rhea too, because they were a part of Judgment Day. I'm going to start off by saying I shouldn't be surprised at the results of Monday Night Raw, but I can't help but feel disappointed, but that's mostly disappointment on how Dom was treated. I mean, I knew Raquel was probably going to lose. It was 50-50, and I knew for sure Finn was going to lose, but I was really hoping Dom would get a win there, or at least a DQ finish, and he didn't get that. So this is mostly me being disappointed with that. Um, I'm still not budging on my predictions on Liv, even though we saw what happened with Bianca and Naomi showing up on Raw. I'm still, and even with the tag team title match next week, I'm still not budging. Um, so, but like I said, this is more of a disappointment feel. Wanted more for Dom, but it is what it is. But I'll get into it because there is some glimmer of hope with Dom. Maybe this is me clutching at straws, but there is a little bit of glimmering hope. But I'll get to that in a few. But I do want to start off with pre-show today because of course it does. We had a crash out because they had Rhea and Liv on a poster for the tour, and I think in Germany. And then people were crashing out. Oh, this means that Liv is not going to win the Elimination Chamber. Oh, this means that Liv is going to be taking a pin during the tour. Um, and I'm like, it's a poster. It just shows the dates. Liv and Rhea having the matches on the live tour. This isn't like Raw they're being advertised for. This is just live tour for Germany in March, I believe. So it's like a poster doesn't say anything. I will just say that live events are used as practice, and Lord knows Rhea needs practice because I'm going to get into her in a little bit because I got to talk about that before I get into any of this other stuff. But live events are used as practice. If they are going live Rhea at WrestleMania, then you need to practice. So that's going to happen on the live tour. Will Liv get the pin? Maybe. But there's creative ways you can do things on live tours. You can get DQ'd, and then you get a finish that leaves the crowd happy. You get a DQ, and then Rhea does a riptide, and then Liv rolls out, and then you pose for the crowd. That's sending the crowd home happy. Being paired against Rhea does not mean Liv takes pins on the live tours, and even if she was taking pins on the live tour, that does not mean anything in the grand scheme of things. It's live tour. It doesn't count. It's not canon unless WWE makes it canon. But still, that's usually a long shot, and they only make it canon in a few specific circumstances. So, Rhea and Liv being on the live tour doesn't mean much. And if anything, that just gives you credence that it's going to be Liv and Rhea on the tour because they could really put in like an EO there or whoever else they wanted there. You know. So if anything, that just gives more hints for Liv and Rhea at WrestleMania. So yeah, don't crash out. At least not yet. I mean, tonight I could have crashed out about Dom. I'm not crashing out. It's just more frustration and disappointment than crashing out. But to go from that, I want to talk about Rhea. Because why am I talking about Rhea? She was not there tonight. Why was she not there tonight? She was on her honeymoon. And boy, the discourse on the X today when that came out. Because one Rhea fan was talking about, oh, she just reserves this big rest in having her honeymoon with her husband. And people just started flipping their shit because it was hilarious to me because people started ripping Rhea. Now, her being on her honeymoon would be fine. I get it. She's a newlywed. She just got married this year. So of course she's gonna have a honeymoon. However, this is all about perception. She's taking a honeymoon. She's gonna be off in a busy time in the build to WrestleMania. And I think she's gonna be off for 2 weeks. So you're building Elimination Chamber for her opponent at WrestleMania, and then she has a match with EO the Monday after Elimination Chamber. So, what is EO going to do in these 2 weeks? We saw what happened with EO, what they did with EO this week, but you're leaving EO to build a feud on her own. And then they had to get real creative, and I'm going to get into that promo too. But you're leaving EO to build a promo on her own. But saying that Rhea deserves rest, when I see Liv Morgan busting her ass along with EO, I'm just bringing up Liv here, but Liv, okay, let's do Liv, EO, Bianca, Naomi, Nia, Candice, Bailey. All 5 of those women. Did I say 6? 6. Okay. So all 6 of those women, even more, because there's other women busting their ass too. These are the 6 women that have been holding it down, being on all the shows. Bailey was just on Raw. She went to NXT. She had an NBA game, and then she had a Vengeance Day on Saturday, and then she was here on Monday Night Raw tonight. That's 5 events she was on. Liv Morgan and Io Sky. They had a match. They had a match at Royal Rumble and lasted over an hour. They ran it back on Monday where Liv won, but that was a hard fought match. They run it back again last week, and then in an amazing tag team match that left Liv busted open. And we saw all that. These are all hard-hitting matches where they didn't get a chance to really breathe. Bianca and Naomi, they've been running both shows. They'll be showing Raw, they'll be showing SmackDown, and then they would run down to NXT to set that up. Nia, she's been on all the SmackDowns doing something, wrestling, setting up things with Trish and Tiffany now, but she's been setting stuff up. Same thing with Candice. But you want to tell me, Rhea, that has been giving us 1 minute of promo time, and shitty promo time at that. You want to tell me she deserves this rest? I don't know what she's doing behind the scenes. I don't even give a fuck. Really, I really don't. I don't give a fuck on how busy she is behind the scenes. This is all about perception, public perception. Since she's won the title, she did 1 match at Saturday Night Main Event, and then she did 1 match that SmackDown before Saturday Night Main Event, and then she's been one promo in the ring, and then she ran her ass out there to cost Io the match, and then she did a shitty 1 minute promo. This is the person, like Ricola says here, this is the person The Rock said was carrying the WWE. How the fuck is she carrying the WWE? Where she could just skip off to do her honeymoon. This is a honeymoon she should have had when she was out injured. She had all that time from April all the way down until summer, the month before SummerSlam? Now, maybe she was trying to get physical therapy on her injury. I don't know. I don't care. But you could have slipped in some time to do some kind of honeymoon during this injury time. Maybe she had to line it up with Buddy. I don't give a fuck. You could have made some time there. I'm sure Tony Khan would have did it. It's not like Buddy was doing anything in House of Black. Do you remember what Buddy was doing in House of Black and AEW? Like, you had time. You came back. You got the title back. And now you want to take your honeymoon? To put into perspective, Dom got married before WrestleMania last year to Marie. Has he had a chance to have a honeymoon? You see what I'm getting at here? Has Dom had the time to take some time off to have his honeymoon? Or just have time off, period? You remember how many times I've sit up here and complained about how they had Dom go to War Games? They had Dom go to War Games and then proceeded to do absolutely shit with him on the actual card itself. So why was he there? Yeah, he was doing meet and greets, but he could have been at home with his wife. Like, why are you going to run the man up there just to do these meet and greets when he could have just been at home and then he could have just joined Liv and all them after War Games? This was the same thing that happened at Money in the Bank last year. They had Judgment Day run up there to do that press conference, with Damien, and then they proceeded to do jack shit with Judgment Day at Money in the Bank. They didn't even interfere in the match for Damien and all that. I mean, they could have stayed home. Like you could have given them time to be at home with their families. But Dom, I have yet to see have time to take his honeymoon. But Rhea she's worked so hard that she needs to have this time with her husband. Bull fucking shit. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. It's all about public perception. And if people want to get on me for that, I don't give a fuck either. Y'all can kiss my ass on that. It's all about public perception. I don't know what she's doing behind the scenes, and like I said, I don't give a fuck about that too. Maybe she's busy behind the scenes doing shit, but I don't see it. Do you see what she could be doing behind the scenes right now? When we see Liv on the internet right now, what are we seeing with Liv? She was going everywhere. She was doing the Netflix stuff. She was doing the NFL games. She was doing a whole bunch of shit. Same with Dom. He was doing the meet and greets. He was doing the meet and greets. He was doing some of these other fan interactions. He stays busy. Even Finn and Carlito, like they're doing all these interviews and stuff like that. They stay busy. The person that I consider the face of the WWE, Cody Rhodes, he stays busy. Now he can take his family on the road with him because he has the bus and all that. Yeah, he can do that. That's a luxury, but that's afforded to him because he's busting his ass. Every time I see Cody, like right now at this Raw, he had an dark match after Raw. So you mean to tell me Rhea's carrying the company, but Cody fucking Rhodes, the man that busts ass after every Raw, after every SmackDown, sends the crowd home happy, he's signing all the weight belts, doing all kinds of shit. You see him on the internet, like giving out tickets and just all kinds of public work. You mean to tell me he's not carrying the company? Rhea is doing less than Roman Reigns. But Roman Reigns ate dog shit, literally, to get to the point where he doesn't have to be on all the time. Plus, he has an illness. So unless I find out that Rhea has some sort of illness or some kind of injury, I don't want to hear it. But even then, if she does have an illness or she does have an injury, she should have been saying that her ass at home and she shouldn't have the title right now. Roman Reigns does not have the title. And even when Roman Reigns did have the title, he would come back and bust ass in his matches. He would actually sell for people and try to get them over before he won. And even when he came back now, he was trying his hardest to get Solo over. He was getting Jacob over. He was trying to get people over. Roman Reigns ate dog shit to get to the position he's at right now. And he's sick. He gets a lot more allowances on his schedule. Rhea, to me, has not earned the right to have this type of schedule. I don't care how popular she is. I really don't. Because if she's that popular, then Cody Rhodes should be having that type of schedule too. You can't be a face of the company with this type of schedule. You can't be the face of the company if you're not doing all the public interviews. You're not the face of the company if you're not putting the company on your back. Now I know the WWE is carny as fuck, but if you want to be the face of the company, you put it on his back. The Rock put it on his back. Steve Austin put it on his back. Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Bret Hart, John Cena, Randy Orton. All of those people put the WWE on their back. They went through some atrocious storylines, but they were out there week after week and doing live event tours. This is before the schedule got reduced. Y'all remember how the tour schedule was for before they reduced it down? Like they would go Monday and then Tuesday, Wednesday they would have like live tours and then it was even brutal in the 80s and the 90s. Like those are the people that was busting ass and they would deserve to have some time off for their honeymoon and just because they were working so hard. I don't want to hear that Rhea deserves some time off. Like I said, public perception is a thing. Especially when I'm looking over here at Dom, who probably hasn't even had his honeymoon yet. But that man been working his ass injured to be on TV. Injured during the LivDom summer. Man is injured. He stayed on TV to push that storyline forward. He did. He did it. He got everything up. Him and Liv. But he was there. He worked through his injury. You want to tell me that Rhea deserves this time out, this time off? Get the fuck out. I'm tired. I'm tired of her. I really am. Right now, real life stuff is starting to leak into my personal opinion on her character wise, and I don't like it. I don't like to do that because I like to keep those two separate. Usually, the character is different from the person, and I'm trying to keep them separate. But when you're doing shit like this, it's getting really hard to separate the two. I'm just tired. I'm really tired. And then it feels like I get forced to having to talk about her because they keep doing shit like this. Like, what is she going to do? What is Io going to do next week? Okay, I'm going to talk about Io now because I don't want to kind of segue back into it because you see the promo they have with Io, which is a very slick looking promo. And then she was talking about, oh, I need my moment at WrestleMania. And I'm like, I don't give a damn about your moment at WrestleMania. I really don't. Would I want all the wrestlers to have a moment at WrestleMania? Yes. But I don't care about you having a moment when you've already had a moment and you went into WrestleMania as the champion last year. I really don't. I'm sorry. And then I'm sitting over here looking at Liv, hoping that she wins the Elimination Chamber, which I do think she is, but you still have to allow for Triple H's bullshit. I'm over here looking at Liv, hoping she gets on the card so she can have a moment because she was robbed last year. I'm over here looking at Dom, looking at how he's been treated, and hoping he gets on the WrestleMania tour. Same thing with Finn, even though I talk shit about Finn, but that's his character. But Finn, I want him to get on the WrestleMania card. There's a lot of different people I want on the card because they deserve their moments. But Io just saying that right now just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I don't give a damn about you getting a moment. I really don't. You already had a moment. You walked in as champion. You had Money in the Bank. That's a lot for anybody right now. That would be like Tiffany saying after she's won all this stuff and had WrestleMania, then like the next year, oh, I hope to be in the title hunt for WrestleMania next year. You just had it. I mean, it's not a participation game, but this is like a read the room situation. And then notice how they wanted to bring up Io's past with Rhea in NXT. Again, I said on the X, oh, now you want to bring up history? Now you want to bring up Rhea's past? How come you can do this past but not LivDom and Raquel's past? And y'all not trying to sugarcoat it. Like, now y'all want to bring up the past? And I don't even remember that past. It wasn't that long. It's not like y'all did anything. Y'all had a few matches. Okay, good. There's more history with Raquel and Rhea in NXT than Io and Rhea in NXT. I don't care about NXT. They haven't done any. I mean, that's NXT. That's separate. Yeah, you can reference it, but do I care about what Rhea and Io did in NXT? No. What did you do on the main roster? What have you done now to build up this story for WrestleMania or Elimination Chamber or the Money After Elimination Chamber? What have you done now? What have y'all done on the main roster? I don't care about what you've done in NXT. NXT can help build the story for what's on the main roster. It's kind of like how they reference things with NXT with Dexter and Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory and Candice and Indy, because they brought the way up onto the main roster. Like that's built, that's kind of referencing what happened in NXT, but they didn't completely reference all what happened in NXT. So, them referencing history then, I don't really care. I don't give a fuck. I mean, because y'all are using history when it's convenient to you. But anyway, I was just annoyed with that. I'm annoyed with Rhea. I'm annoyed with, people just saying, well, how could she, she can't be with her honeymoon? People are trying to frame it as being cruel when people are just like, what has she done to need this time off? And it's a legit question to have. I follow some people on Spanish pro wrestling Twitter, and it's hilarious. If you can get on that side, just use Google Translate to translate what they're saying because they really rip apart Rhea on that side of the X, and they really like Dom, so they'll tear her apart. So one of the comments I saw on Spanish was like, why? How is she tired? Is she tired after that 10 minutes match with Nia Jax to get a vacation? I mean, I mean, that's what it is. So she had a 10-minute match, and now she needs a vacation. So it's not just because people want it's not just because people don't want her to be on the honeymoon. I don't care if she wants to be on the honeymoon. Fine, it is what it is. She had her wedding. I get it, but the timing is really off because, like I said, this is WrestleMania season, and you're taking time away from WrestleMania season where everybody else is usually all hands on deck. You got other people that can't take time away off because they're in WrestleMania season. But you can do it, and then you are stalling out Io's thing. So what is Io going to do next week? Is it going to be a Rhea promo? Is she going to show up? See, Io didn't even show up. She had the promo, but she didn't even show up. She couldn't even be alongside Dakota Kai when she went against Ivy now. You see how kind of effed up that is? So Dakota was on her own because Io couldn't be there because Rhea couldn't be there. You know. Well, anyway, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of her because all this just shows is that she shouldn't have the title in the first place. That should have been on Liv. If this was on Liv, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now. But anyway, but I say all that. But let's go into something lighter. I want to talk about Dom and Liv breaking the internet. Flower says, see Bianca's Instagram post and comments. Okay. So while I check that, we did have Dom and Liv break the internet. It's pretty much Liv like straddling Dom. You know how she usually does, how she like jumps into his arms and she's like holding him around his waist. You know, she had Daddy Dom, like Daddy on the back of her jacket, and then Dom across her ass. You know, and Dom's flipping off the camera. It's amazing. It's hot. Broke the internet. So if y'all want to see that picture, it's on Instagram and the X posted by Liv, and then Dom made it his little profile pic on the X. So it's a nice hot picture. A lot of Liv and Dom fans were really happy about it because we didn't get anything for Valentine's Day, so we were really happy with that picture. Now let's see what's going on in the X right now. Then bring it on. They're doing it's birds cold in here. So yeah, so that's cute. And yeah, so they broke the internet. So let's get into Raw. I'm just trying to see if there's any else. Alright, so let's see. See Liv Twitter, Elizabeth says. Oh, Liv says it's only been brought in. Somebody said that should be a Toro. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's some interesting things here. I gotta remember to come back to this. Okay, so, and I've talked a lot, and I've ranted a lot, and it's already 11 o'clock. So, let's go Monday Night Raw. We're going with the clubhouse scene. We had Finn being his demented self, scowling at the chicken tending plushies. I'm actually liking that Dom is carrying that around. I know that was given to him for by a fan, so it's just really cute of him to drag those plushies around. And then Carlito, with his hilarious self, wants somebody's credit card to buy the 2K24 DLC. Carlito. Like, he's really trying to buy that DLC. I think that DLC has him in it. So him just trying to buy himself by using somebody else's credit card is just so on point with him. Let's see. And let's see. We had Liv talking up Dom. They were being really cute. Like, she was really building him up. Like Finn, Dom was like, I wish Finn could see it because Liv was really building him up, and it's really sounded like Liv was trying to build him up to be the leader. And then Dom's like, I really wish Finn could see this, except the sexy parts, and I was just cackling at that particular moment. And then Finn is in there like trying to be leader again, and then this time Finn negs Raquel, and then I kind of like how Raquel was just like, "Boy, please," with her response to him, because you're talking about like somebody losing when you're losing. And then he looks directly at Dom and says, "No new members." Tonight pretty much showed that they need new members and probably need to kick some members out. I think right now, with how everything is going, they just need to go on and pull the trigger. And I think I'm gonna caption this episode as pull the trigger already. Because look, everybody lost. Dom, Raquel, and Finn. Just pull the trigger already. Are you waiting for Elimination Chamber? It seems like they're always waiting for a major point to happen before we can get more major storyline advancement. And it's getting really, really tedious. Like, just gone and pull the trigger. Just do it. Everybody lost. Dom doesn't even have the advantage of having a win to lord over Finn. He has the Damien win, but he doesn't have anything else. And then Finn just keeps losing. So how are we gonna break this stalemate? Anyway, then we had Dom versus AJ. It was a decent match. Like I said, at least AJ will sell for Dom. We didn't get no selling from AJ, which I like. It was just a battle of L'Oreal hair with Dom and AJ with his mom hair. And then what I really did not like is how Dom took a clean loss here. I mean, because he doesn't need a clean loss. Like, this should have been a DQ. AJ, I know you're introducing AJ to Raw, but AJ is established. He really doesn't need that win. Not like a clean win. Like, if he needed a clean win, he could have just went with Carlito. Now, I'm going to go into probably why Dom was used here, but still, if you need a clean win, that should have been Carlito. But he gets pinned, and then Braun Breaker finally appears. Like, I'm like, Braun, why couldn't you show up like 5 minutes earlier? And then Braun comes in and goes to spear AJ and ends up spearing Dom. And then we have that stare down between AJ and Braun. But if y'all check, if you do check YouTube, there's something interesting. On the YouTube caption, they are using Braun's Breaker Spears Dominik Mysterio and failed attack on AJ Styles. So Dom is being mentioned in this. Now, this could be wishful thinking for me, and I could be clutching at straws, because if they wanted to, they would leave. If Dom was completely out of, if they want, it sounds like they're kind of easing Dom into the Intercontinental Championship thing. Because if they wanted to, I think they would just leave his name out. Now, they can be using him just to get the reactions from people, and that's really shitty to do. But still, that's still not necessary. So, but here we have a stare down. My buddy on the X has a screenshot of Braun kind of staring down at Dom here. So it kind of looks like we could get a triple threat. I thought they were going to do multi-man Intercontinental with Dom, AJ, Braun, Penta, Ludwig, and like Pete Dunne, like make it multi-man. But it might end up being a triple threat match, because they did set up another match for Elimination Chamber before Sammy and Kevin unsanctioned, and then we have the Trish match unsanctioned too. So we have one more slot. So that's either going to be the United States Championship, which I don't think they're going to do, or it could be IC. It could be either or. And Bricola's right; they could be using Dom for clicks, but it's just interesting. And we do see Dom in the background when Pete Dunne was walking through. So they were doing something there. We couldn't really see it. I think it was more like Carlito taking care of Dom. So we didn't really see it, but I'm just gonna hope for the best. Expect the words hope for the best, and just hope that Dom can figure into the Intercontinental reign, because I am really tired of Dom being used. And then he got chanted again. It's kind of weird. I think Dom is just gonna still get booed, but he does get chants when it's warranted. I mean, so he's doing a little bit more than AJ Styles. Like, who's out there to see AJ Styles? Like, sometimes it feels like he almost gets punished just for getting those reactions. Like, I mean, you're setting him up like that. Eventually, people are going to appreciate his hard work. And they're probably not going to stop booing him, but you do get to a point of appreciating heels. But anyway, like I said, we do see Dom and Carlito in the background after the match, when Pete Dunne was walking through. And then we get to Liv being snarky with Kathy Kelly, which I was really happy about because y'all know that I cannot stand Kathy's ass. And then Raquel lost because Bianca and Naomi came out there to go after Liv. Notice that they did the attack right by attacking Liv and not Raquel, which would cause a DQ. Take notes, Rhea. Here, this all sets up for Liv Quell versus Bianca and Naomi next week. Regardless of whether Liv wins or not next week, I still think that I still think she wins Elimination Chamber because she's like the only heel in the Elimination Chamber. Nobody's gonna be cheering. I mean, nobody's gonna be booing Roxanne in the chamber. So I mean, she's gonna be the only heel. I know people keep saying, "Well, it could be Bailey," and see, it's really funny to see the discourse online because they say, "Well, Bailey could win, and then it could be a triple threat match between Rhea, Bailey, and Io." Okay, if Bailey gets in there, why would you have Io in there? I know they have history, but why would you tie in Io? Same thing with Bianca. Well, they can do Rhea, Bianca, and Io again. Yeah, they had some hit. You know, the history is between Bianca and Io and Bailey with Io. Rhea does not have the history, so it still does not make sense. I believe Bianca has more of a chance of winning than Bailey, but still, everybody in the chamber pretty much has their own storylines. Bailey has it with Roxanne. Bianca and Naomi have their own storyline with Jade. Alexis just came back, but she's dealing with the Wyatt Six. So the only reasonable person to win is Liv because her story actually ties into Rhea. It's just kind of how it was last year. Who had the story going into Elimination Chamber with Rhea? It was Liv, and then it was Becky. At least there they had two people tied to Rhea there, but it was Becky. At least Becky was trying to get to Rhea, and they were building her up like she failed at Royal Rumble, so she's going to try and get into Elimination Chamber to get to Rhea. So we had that story with Becky. We're not having that with anybody else. And I don't believe they're going to spoil or ruin Bianca going up against Rhea with a shitty month build. If they do that, it's fucked up because you're ruining could be a match. And see, and this is that dream match thing again. I really don't care about dream matches because more often than not with Rhea, they're starting to fall flat. So you're going to be wasting all these supposed dream matches on a month build just for Rhea. Nah. I mean, and that does Bianca wrong too, and Naomi and Jade because you're plucking Bianca out of their story. So what? Bianca is going to get plucked out, and then it's just going to be Naomi dealing with Jade on her own when everything was affected by Bianca too. Like, because Bianca lost her United States Championship opportunity for that, so it doesn't make sense. And the same thing with Io. She has no story tying into Rhea. No main story, no main roster story. That's why I'm saying I don't think it's going to be a triple threat match because it makes no sense. Like, why would you interfere with the Rhea and Io match just to make it a triple threat? It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, so we have that Liv, Quell, and Bianca next week, and then and all my notes is just like Finn lost. Like I knew Finn was gonna lose on that. Like I said, they just need to go on and pull the trigger on this thing. They're making everybody look bad. Dom, Finn, like how are you gonna get a reasonable Dom and Finn feud if they both keep losing? Like after a while, they just need to start winning. They need to do something. Just pull the trigger. Pull it. Get it done. I mean, I can't really say anything about the Finn match. I was barely paying attention to it because I know Finn was going to lose. It's a nice match, but it's not like something you had to keep focused on. I was just looking to see if there was going to be any outside interference. There wasn't. Finn said he was going to win it on his own last week, so people held him to it. So it is what it is. You know, Finn lost. Judgment Day lost. You know, I'm more frustrated and disappointed at this point than crashing out. But like I said, even with this Monday Night Raw, I'm still staying the course. I'm still saying there's the 80% chance with 20% of Triple H's bullshit that Liv wins. Because right now, like I said, the roster is built for Liv. Oh, the guy in the match you were there in Charlotte for Raw. How was the reactions to like AJ, Dom, and Finn? Were they cool, or was it like not as you expected? So yeah, they just need to pull the trigger. Even with the, like I said, even with the tag team match later, we still could have the Liv as a double champ. You know, it gives the Judgment Day a credibility. If they do that, but I'm almost thinking that that's just going to be a DQ finish. I know I've been saying DQ, but I don't think anybody's going to particularly when it that guy in the bass. I was the only person cheering for Dom. See, that's why I keep saying that he can't turn face. Yeah, he's getting chants for Dirty Dom, but he still gets this reaction here, where you're like pretty much the only one cheering for Dom. Like when I was in Austin, there was more people. I think I was in the heel side portion of the arena because people were booing, like mentioning the mentions of Dom, but but my section was kind of cheering it. So yeah, that's why he stays heel. But they really got to stop using Dom to build people up. It's tiring. Like, yeah, at this point, you can't use them like that. The rest of Raw, I really don't care. Dakota won against Ivy Nile. I was actually surprised at this because I thought Ivy Nile was going to win because she was the one that actually was, starting to push something against Dakota. Now she could come out there maybe next week or so and interject herself into Dakota's match to get into it or something like that. But I was just kind of surprised Ivy lost. I thought they would get like another distraction finish, and then maybe Ivy would Ivy would win by the skin of her teeth or something like that. Um, then we had Penta, like we got Penta and Pete Dunne and Ludwig. Like, what are y'all doing with that? I'm like, I'm not really even interested in that. Then you get New Day trying to get booed. I'm like, okay, like what are y'all doing with him? I guess they're gonna be fighting up against LWO, new LWO with Dragon Lee as leader. I don't know. And then who else? Oh, Gunther was coming through the crowd here, and I said Gunther was the only thing about this Gunther and Jay interaction is that Jay didn't yeet for 20 minutes, and then he had a pretty okay promo afterward, Jay. But I think they're trying to channel what people are saying online with Jay, and I'm like, it's whatever. Just do the yeeting, but don't be surprised people get tired of it.